www.thegreatwhitebrotherhood.org.
Remote viewing the future. Remote viewing the future is possible because time does not exist in a linear fashion, and therefore, it is possible to reach out and link with events that are happening in a future, now. This can only be done for a relatively short period into the future, because the further one looks into the future, the more variables can change what happens. But, a short period like a month, allows fairly accurate predictions to be made. Past and current events are recorded into the Akashic record. In the case of future events, obviously, this cannot be done. The word record implies noting events either as they happen, or as they have happened. If something has not yet occurred, a different system applies. What happens is that, based on what has occurred, or what is going on at the moment, a sort of inevitability occurs. For instance, if an apple falls from a tree, there is a strong possibility that it will fall to the ground. Now, if at a certain time, a person walks towards the tree, is it possible to predict if the apple will hit the person on the head, or not? Many variables will come into play that permit the apple to hit the person on the head, or not, so, it is not usually possible to predict with absolute certainty such an event. With other occurrences, the future can be predicted fairly accurately. But, none of this involves Akashic records. A remote viewer looks out along timelines, and picks up the most dramatic events that are likely to occur. Then, the person tries to see what is likely to happen. But, as nothing is totally certain, they can predict with greater or lesser accuracy. The events along any timeline are quite simply projections of now events. The now moment is constantly altering, but each succeeding now moment is dependent on the preceding one to a certain extent. So, to describe it simply, if one looks at a series of single moments in time, for instance, concerning the apple growing on a tree, we can see that the apple ripens, and, eventually, falls from the tree. The exact moment when the apple will depart from the tree cannot be predicted, but we know that it will eventually fall. Once it starts to fall, it is simple to imagine that it will hit the ground. So, imagination is brought into play to predict the future from the last, now, moment. That is why remote viewing is so difficult. Once we start to use imagination, we are in murky waters.
Thank you for watching this video lesson. Please visit www.thegreatwhitebrotherhood.org for more lessons and free downloadable books.